Okay, Denise, you're up. Our program chair for the day, Ms. Denise Hart.
I have Sara Allen, once again, because it is Relay Month. And so we're gearing up for Relay for Life this year. And I did bring Sara in, who has always been a longtime friend, but she also lives here, and she has Relay in her heart as far as something that not only does she work for them, but it serves her spiritually too, for all the items that, go into what keeps our community what it is. Here's Sara.
Spiritually, huh? I don't know that that's ever been said
You have
about
to be spirited about it.
spirited, not spiritual.
You're
Is that what you're
spiritually
saying?
involved.
Oh, I'm spiritually involved with reeling. I am, I
You
guess.
say, oh God, or what?
Again, just joking. For me, it's April, May, June, August, October. It's every day of the year. So it's me again, Margaret, Sara, Relay for Life, American Cancer Society. I feel like I do this program about once a year around the same time. Pretty sure you guys are probably sick of listening to me. I'm going to take a different avenue this time. Instead of talking about giving me money, I'm going to talk about kind of patient services and some of the benefits of giving me money. Not me personally, but ACS. So I have thrown a couple of pamphlets and information on the table. Sorry guys in the back, I'll get you some in a minute. My bad. Kind of going over some of the bigger items that we touch on with ACS and where the dollars go, other than the research. Touch on that for 2, maybe 3 seconds. We did just get the email letting us know that the first quarter 2019 grants have gone out and have been funded, $40.2 million in just a quarter. So, yay, fundraising dollars for research. Some of the research dollars that are staying right here in the South region, mainly in the state of Texas, -1 in Atlanta. A lot of them are going towards head and neck and cell reproduction, thyroid, and there's a big one that is really touching on, 2 big ones. One on triple-negative metastatic breast cancer, and the other one to increase the funding for AML leukemia, primarily in children under the age of 18, which is kind of a big deal because that's one of the things that we don't hear a lot about is childhood cancer research funding. It is not unimportant, it's just there's actually not a lot of research being done out there, not a lot of doctors that are putting in the extra time to do the research. They're going with what's out there. So kind of excited about that. Also really excited about the American Cancer Society's partnership with St. Baldrick's, which is primarily and solely pediatric cancer research. And so really excited about that as well, especially being here in Upshur County. We've seen a lot in the last just few years of kids being diagnosed with some form, some type cancer. And these are our kids, these are our future, so we need to definitely invest in those and the research dollars that go to that. So that was my first little tidbit. Second little tidbit is going to be about the information that's on your table. So this is the other side of why we fundraise and why we relay and why we push so hard in our communities to get our communities involved so that we can share the information and education, not just about the research, but about the services that ACS provides. If you make a phone call, log onto the website, do the chat feature, there are different things out there that you can utilize, that your family can utilize, that your friends can utilize. Rides to treatment, we do have transportation grants out there that are being used by facilities where money for public transportation or gas cards are needed. Several years ago, ACS did away with our gas card program, and being a lifelong ACS supporter and Relay for Life drank the purple Kool-Aid years ago, and it's been in my blood ever since. that was really hard because it's really hard to tell somebody, I want you to get to treatment. I want you to go get your chemo. I want you to go get your radiation, but I can't give you a gas card for it. I'm sorry you're having trouble getting to treatment, but there's nothing I can do for you. And so for several years, that's been really difficult to only be able to provide our Road to Recovery program because that's strictly volunteer based. And there aren't volunteers everywhere that want to give up their time to drive somebody to a doctor's appointment or to a chemo treatment or to a radiation treatment, let alone stay and take them back or work within the system to find another driver to stay and take them back, be there to pick them up. So when the transportation grant started last year, it was amazing because once again, we were able to say, we do have money for that. Here, let me get your information. We'll get you funded through your treatment facility, and your transportation voucher will be waiting on you at your next appointment. So that's been fabulous. That's a research grant that is a pay-if grant. So as long as we are reaching our fundraising goals, we're able to do that. There's a private donor out there that is helping pay that if the pay-if part doesn't, if we don't reach our funding goals. So the transportation grant is going to get funded regardless, which is really exciting. The other side of that is the Road to Recovery program. So if you've got free time and you want to give somebody a ride, holler at me, let me know. I can get you into the system and they can get, our Road to Recovery coordinators can get the typical volunteer information, name, address, driver's license number, insurance. So that maybe there's somebody here in town that needs a ride and they call ACS and we're finally able to say, hey, we have a volunteer right there in Gilmer, they can take you to your treatment. Let me give them a call real quick and we'll get that scheduled. The other information I put on the table is, I hate looking at my other stuff, hotel partners. Where can you stay? Hotel partners, we've got free, we have reduced rates, we have percentage reduced rates, we've got, I think that's pretty much all you can do, short of paying full price for a hotel. If you have to travel somewhere overnight, one of the exciting things beyond that is the groundbreaking that we held last fall in Houston for Hope Lodge, and the groundbreaking that's about to take place in May in Dallas for a Hope Lodge there. They have a Hope Lodge in Lubbock that is up and running and has been for quite some time. One that is almost funded and ready to set groundbreaking in Oklahoma City, along with the one in Jackson, Mississippi, that just opened its doors last week. That was a really cool Facebook live video. I don't know how to do those. I'm amazed that people can. It was amazing to sit there and watch for 30 minutes the ribbon cutting of a Hope Lodge, which is, I know I've talked about it before, but it's kind of like a Ronald McDonald House for grown-ups. Kind of quieter, a little less, a little more laid back, a little mellow, nice serene gardens, barbecue patios, and things like that. But it's refrigerators that are earmarked with shelves for the patients that are staying. It's laundry services on every floor that are earmarked for the patients that are staying there. A washer and a dryer, because not everybody has the same skin sensitivities when you're going through treatment. Everybody's a little bit different. You can't always eat the same foods and you can't always have things that intermingle. So there's separate shelves, there's separate washers, there's separate dryers, libraries and TV rooms, places where our patients can go during a one-night stay all the way up to however long they have to be gone from home. And it's all free of charge and it's all paid for. Baylor actually donated the land in Dallas that Hope Lodge will sit on, and then the building campaign. So it is fully privately funded by donors in the Metroplex, which is fabulous. But while it will help the patients in the Metroplex, it really works great for our area because our patients here have to when they travel to Dallas, have to drive, and the time factor is a lot more because there's a 50-mile radius. You have to be more than 50 miles away from your treatment facility to qualify to stay at Hope Lodge. That is the only qualifying factor. So while it will help people in the Metroplex, in the outlying areas, this really, really will help support our patients here in our more, I hate the word rural, but in our more rural areas. So here in East Texas and in the surrounding areas, Hope Lodge is really going to benefit those patients that have to go and stay overnight. So that's one of the other pieces of information. There are two others, one of which is a patient advocate for a pamphlet. And of all my years of being involved in ACS, this is something I didn't know that we offered. Who knew? Denise could actually probably talk about this because when she was in Children's years ago, she actually had a patient advocate working on her behalf. So I didn't realize that ACS had those, and it's a call to the Patient Advocacy Foundation, where if you know somebody that has maybe lost their job or needs additional assistance, call the Patient Advocacy Foundation. They will work with your insurance companies. They will work with the employment agencies. They do all that legwork so that patient doesn't have to. And the patient isn't the one that necessarily has to do the calling. The caregiver can, which makes a huge difference. Because a patient doesn't always feel up to making a phone call to a 1-800 number and spending 5 hours on the phone. Because there's no telling how long those phone calls can last. So this is great because this is an opportunity for the caregiver to actually be able to do something other than sit in a car and drive somebody. While that's super important, as a former caregiver, you kind of feel like, is this all I have to offer is to be a ride for somebody and a shoulder to cry on or a hand to hold. This gives us a little bit something more tangible that we can do to help our family and our friends get past this stage. So there's that. The other one is just a little business card that I keep around with me all the time because it really just references our 1-800 number, which is a wealth of information. 1-800-227-2345, cancer.org. This is the gateway to all things scheduling, all things information, all things American Cancer Society. It's great because you can call the 1-800 number and get a live person within the first couple minutes. They're going to ask you what you need. My doctor's out. It's 2 a.m. I have developed a really weird skin rash to the treatment I had today. I don't know what to do. Should I go to the emergency room? Should I bother my doctor? Because a lot of patients, families, I know we had the cell number to my grandmother's oncologist, and that was fine. He didn't mind us bothering him. But at 2 a.m. when something happens, you don't necessarily want to call your doctor because you know they have to get up and go to work in the morning. Call the 1-800 number. They have nurses on call. They have nurses volunteering their time to answer those questions. They have chaplains if something has happened and you need to contact somebody, you just need somebody to talk to. They have doctors that volunteer their time. They have patient navigators that can help navigate through financial resources in our areas or in other areas. Patient navigators to work the Road to Recovery system or the Reach to Recovery system, or tell you which ACS offices have wig rooms, like the Tyler office. We have patients that come in. We served 17 patients last week, which is a lot for a week, but Easter's getting close, and closer to the holidays, we have a lot of ladies that'll come in and get a little refresh and do something a little different. But we have the wig room in the office. If you don't like those wigs, we have a wig voucher program. We need you a voucher, you go wherever you want to. And go get you the wig you like. Maybe we don't have the perfect shade of red. You've always been a redhead, or you've always been a brunette. We don't have the perfect shade, you can go get the perfect shade. The patient navigator can work the Look Good, Feel Better program that we are reviving in the Tyler office. We've got a volunteer to take that over. We're going to be a host site. We're going to bring that back so that ladies can feel more comfortable in their own skin after treatment. Learn how to put on some eyebrows. I don't know. That's the story I love. My grandmother had radiation. Weirdest reaction. She lost her eyebrows. They were always thin in the first place. That woman could never draw on eyebrows to save her life. She always looked like a clown. This class would have come really handy because because maybe anyway, that's a whole different story. I wish y'all could have seen her, it was great. God love her and her eyebrows. But these are the things that we relay for. It's not just for the research, and while the tangibles are not right here, the tangibles with the 1-800 number and the website and the patient advocates and the road to recovery, those are things that I can say, here, sit with me, let's walk through this, which we've done in the office. The research is huge. The research is important. The research is making waves in areas that we haven't seen in quite some time. Whether you're a proponent or not, with the HPV vaccinations, it's doing huge things. Colorectal screenings, we've seen some lower numbers due to the fact that we are educating our community on how important it is to go get your screening. I gave a talk last week in Big Sandy. Guys, get your prostate checked. It's really not great, but it can save your life. We have a very prominent person, and it'll come out eventually, in Tyler that ignored the symptoms and ignored the signs. Stage 4 prostate cancer, he probably will not make it to June, July. I mean, it's one thing you can do to help save your life. A colonoscopy, the prep work is way worse than the actual thing. Get it done. It's what can save your life. Ladies, get your mammograms. The bus, we'll get it scheduled. Come to the office, we'll get you scheduled. Insurance doesn't cover it, which is, actually, I would say that that's not gonna happen, but it could now, but we'll find the grant money somewhere, we'll get you the mammogram that you need. If that comes back and you need something else, we'll find the money for it. We'll get it done. Ladies, get all your girl parts checked. I'm a huge believer in that. The likelihood that this body that you see before you will end up with cervical cancer in probably the next 10 years, just found out with all of the research that's been going on, is probably 80 to 85%, because I'm one of those HPV people. I'm one of the reasons why we have the vaccine now, because the likelihood that I end up with cervical cancer before I turn 50 is pretty high. And there's not a lot I can do about that at the moment. It's a good thing I don't want any more kids. So there you go. This is why I do what I do. I never thought that it would touch me as personally as it has in the last couple months, short of family members and friends. But this is where we're at, and this is the day and time that we're in. It is so important to be involved in your community. Relay is one way we can bring the community together for one great cause. Fundraising, it is what it is. It is about the money, and that's what I'm charged with. But I enjoy Relay for Life because we get the community together, all in one spot. We celebrate our great cancer survivors, some of which are sitting in this room. We celebrate them, we excite with them, we eat with them, we laugh with them, and their caregivers. And then we honor our loved ones and our friends with their memories from our Luminaria ceremony. And we just commune together. It's a family fun event. Very highly recommend that you come. If you haven't been before, I think you're missing out. But there's that. We will all meet together on Friday, April 26th. My Fridays are getting mixed up. At the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints, because Gilmer starts construction. Very excited about that. Anyway, so that's where we'll be. They are graciously enough hosting us this year, opening their doors and their parking lots and letting us use their facilities. So we're going to be hanging out there starting about 5:30. We end at 10. We're not even on that long anymore. We're not even going to midnight. We're ending at 10. It's going to be awesome. I highly recommend that you guys come out and see what we're all about. If you see any of our sponsors in town, be sure and thank them. Take a look at our Facebook page. We've got, we have our sponsors listed there. You can go and visit them. Gilmer National, probably so many people in this room, so many in this Janice, so many people in this room support this worthwhile event, including Rotary itself. So that's my spiel for today. A little different. I got a little teary-eyed. I don't normally do that. Sorry about that. Any questions, thoughts, or comments? Nothing? Yes, my work here is finished. Or you can ask me on the slide. Thank you.
And as usual, Rotary is involved, and we do have a check
Oh,
for
thank you
$250.
so much.
for